Welcome to your Calgary real estate market update for August 2025. Prices are down almost 4% year over year. Sales are sliding and inventory is the highest that we've seen since 2019. But what's really happening in your part of the city? Let's check it out. I'm Jay Schultz, your Calgary Realtor.
Hey, how you doing?
In this August Calgary real estate market update, we're going to break down detached, semi-detached, condos, townhouses, as well as we'll touch on the quadrants and how they're doing. By the end, you'll know if the market's leaning in your favor or not. Stick around to the end. We're going to talk about some bedroom communities as well. So first, we always like to talk about the big picture. We're going to go over the infographic that everyone posts out there. We'll chat about it quickly and how it's looking. First look at this picture doesn't paint a rosy picture for the Calgary area. These are all negatives, even though there's red and green arrows on this document. Benchmark price is down just over 4% year over year, 577,200. Sales. This is the alarming number that people will gravitate towards making a big deal about these numbers. Sales were down almost 9% year over year. This is the big number of this monthly update. Sales being down almost 10% is a big number. That's when you really start to see things change in the market, when there was only 1,989 sales last month. We're a city of 1.5 million plus, and to have only 2,000 sales, it's not quite enough. Inventory, it's decreasing a bit from the past months as we expected, moving into the fall season here where people have taken their listing off the market. Inventory currently sits at just over 6,600. Months of supply, this is the piece that tells us if we're a balanced market, seller's market, or buyers. Months of supply has moved to that 3.35, indicating we're moving towards a balanced market as a whole. We'll get into the different segments throughout this video. Days on market continues to increase. 38 days on market to sell your home, 41% increase over last year. So looking at this infographic, it certainly tells us lots of things about the market. We'll break it down here further, but basically the translation is the seller's market that we've seen for the last 3 or 4 years is slowly fading away. It's cooling. Detached and semi-detached are still staying stable in some areas, but rows and condos are taking the biggest hits, especially in the Northeast. More to come. So the detached overview for the market stats. Detached homes are stable. 995 sales last month, which is flat year over year. There was approximately that same number sold last year.
Peter! Yeah? Oh, sorry. Did you mean that?
Benchmark, 755,000, only down about 1% from last year, which is great to see that we have one strong / okay segment in our market when the others are really starting to struggle. That northeast east section, they're down like 5%, whereas city center, it's up about 2%. But overall, detached is doing pretty good. With that, we see that they're stabilizing. It's a stable market there, not super high prices, not super low, not a ton of swinging in that market, up or down. But again, the buyers still have options, especially in the northeast, especially in the east. Semi-detached still continues to amaze me with its strength in the market. It's got to be a price point issue where they can't afford a single family home, and so they're moving to a nice, newer built semi-detached. Sales are 206 last month. That's up like 20% from last year. Benchmark, it's a little bit cheaper to get into these with a 687 price point for a half duplex. And this number is up 1% year over year. The strength of this market continues to show with a 2.56 months of supply, which means the seller probably has a bit more of an advantage. Staying strong, this is the strongest segment of 2025 so far. They're still posting gains in several inner city districts. Now for the start of the bad news, into row houses. These townhouse options are down 11% year over year. With sales, of course, there was 339 sales last month. Inventory peaked at 1103, which is the second highest August ever. Benchmark price, 439 continues to have downward pressure on these style of homes. That's down about 5% year over year. Certainly a place where buyers have an advantage is the row houses. They have the most leverage. Extra supply has pushed prices down in all quadrants across the city, from 5 to 8% even. So if you're looking for a deal, row houses might be the way to go for you. The lower price points, the lower condo fees, it might be the best time for buyers to enter this market in a long time. Next is the really bad news. Condos. If you have a condo in this market, I wish you luck. I don't have many condo listings, and I hope my sellers agree with me. They need to price aggressively. Sales, there was 449 sales last month, which is down over 26% year over year. This decrease is a big number, 26%. Investors, first-time home buyers were jumping into the market last year. Now they are straight up avoiding condos. Inventory has peaked to 1979. That's the highest in August ever. Investors trying to leave the market, new construction coming on board, people panicking. Condos are in big trouble. And of course, adding to that is the decrease in price. They're down just over 6% year over year. The benchmark price here is $326,000 now for a condo. Through all these segments, condos are under the most pressure. Downtown towers, northeast condos, they are leading the declines. If you're buying, negotiate. Get the best deal for you if that's the segment of the market that you can afford or want to be in. If you're selling, expect competition. Everyone is trying to sell their condo right now. Next up, we're going to break down the quadrants. We're going to start with my favorite, the Northwest.
I love you. I love you.
Northwest Calgary is holding better than most. Detached and semis are almost flat in this area, where condos and rows have slightly dipped. Buyers are starting to finally have some options in Tuscany and Edgemont, but sellers aren't facing huge discounts to unload their property at this point. Coming in stable at $745,000 for a benchmark price. Rows are down about 1% to $445,000. Apartments across the city, Northwest isn't immune. Pricing is down about 6% to that $305 price point. And those half duplexes up 1% at $668. The Northeast, we keep talking about it. It's not getting better any day soon. The Northeast is a struggle. Under the most pressure, detached, rows, condos, semis, they're all down in this quadrant. If you're buying in places like Skyview, Redstone, Marlborough, you're going to have some options and you're going to have some negotiating power. Detached, again, the numbers aren't great. Detached, down 5%. Rows, down 9%. Apartments, down 11%. That's a big number, 11%. When the average is 30,000, even half duplexes are struggling in the area, down 2.5%. It's cold there in the Northeast, but with that, hopefully some buyers can take advantage of the pricing and the options that are out there for them. I always say the market's good for someone. Hopefully it's you at this point. The Southwest is, of course, a mixed market. Places like Evergreen and Altadore, detached, are doing great there. But of course, the row and condo market are softening. This quadrant is still balanced, not tipping towards the buyer just yet.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Detached are only down just over 0.5%. Row houses down 5%. Apartments down 5% as well. And half duplexes are down only 0.7%. Moving into the southeast of Calgary, it's seen easing there, especially across condos and townhouses. Detached, Cranston, Mahogany, they're always going to stay strong because that's suburbia for you. But multifamily pieces are under more pressure for sure. Detached down 2.3%. Rows down 4%. Apartments, bigger number here, like we've seen, they're down 8% in the southeast. And half duplexes, just under 1%, they're down year over year, coming in at that $519 price point. Quick side note here, as I move forward in my YouTube journey, the trolls are out there and I see them every week. I hope you guys like and subscribe the video. Don't be a Johnny Bahama. I understand there's lots of realtors doing similar content, but work with people you want to work with. Watch content that you want to watch. These numbers are out there every month for every realtor to put out there. Please like, subscribe, comment. and tell Johnny Bahama where to go next time you see him. I get it. Market stats are boring. Hopefully, as you're coming back to the channel, I'll make it a little bit more exciting rather than just numbers. Moving on to the bedroom communities of Calgary. Calgary is so expensive right now. So much competition here. People are moving to Airdrie, Okotoks, and Cochrane. So it makes sense for us to chat quickly about them because they're a part of the Calgary market, but a little bit removed. A couple surprises here today, and we'll start with Airdrie. Airdrie, 20 minutes north on the map. Prices are down 4% year over year. It's certainly a busier area there. Lots of traffic. Lots of people who work in the Northeast will actually live in Calgary because it's a quick commute still. $531 is the benchmark price in Airdrie. Cochrane, if you're looking for that smaller town feel, close to the mountains, your home has gone up about 2% year over year. Cochrane benchmark is now $589. Okotoks to the south. Certainly a lot of people who work in the south of Calgary are going to gravitate towards Okotoks because its pricing is a little bit cheaper. With that, their pricing is up 2% year over year. With those 3-bedroom communities outside of Calgary, Airdrie is starting to slip. Cochrane, mild increases. And Okotoks is staying pretty balanced. There we go. So what are the takeaways from the stats that we've seen? It's not quite as bad as I thought they were going to be, but here we are. A new month, summer's over, the smoke has rolled in, and you have to keep the perspective. Prices are still down, yes, but they're still well above the pre-pandemic levels. Detached and semis, mostly declines, but holding year to date. Row and condo, sharper price drops. Buyers, you got more choice, especially if you're in that condo market, and a ton if you're in the Northeast. Sellers, of course, pricing strategy is huge for you right now. You have to be priced right. You can't chase the market. You will sit. You will sit for sure. So that's August 2025. I expect inventory levels to drop here in September as everyone's taken their listing off if they couldn't sell in the summer. If you want to see what happened in July from last month, you can click here. And if you're thinking about making a move, hit that subscribe button. Come back every week. I'll keep you one step ahead of Calgary's shifting market. See you next week.